Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games and day 6 of my 30-day Space Wolves challenge. It's been a real productive day again today, got loads done. It's really early in the morning, it's pretty much day 7 now, but we are a fifth of the way through the challenge and now almost ready to get painting properly. So today's been a real mixed bag. I've just been finishing off some of the details of the different models and just customizing the Razorbacks, the tank, finishing the magnets on the Stormfang, and I've also done all the bases ready, so they're going to set overnight, ready for painting tomorrow, and I've primed a few models as well. So for the rest of the video, I'll just give you a quick update so you can see how everything's looking, and then we'll take a close look at the different vehicles and how I've made them look a bit more like Space Wolves, and also done a bit of extra magnetization on the Predator and that Stormfang as well. So let's get started and have a look at the update. I've had a little bit of tidy up just to get organised, and here you can see the bases, so they're all setting now as we speak, so tomorrow they'll be ready for painting. And then here's the army, all ready to go now, so this can all be primed tomorrow as well. And so yeah, really productive day getting all these bits and pieces done. But the bases, I'm going to be using the same technique with that Vallejo ground texture rough grey pumice and the Agrellan earth, which is the crackle paint. And so the combination of these two, and then I'll paint them white with a spray and then go over it with the blue and then a white dry brush, and we're going to get something similar to this base that you can see here. So nice simple techniques. And the theme for the bases, really, I'm taking from the idea of a fjord, but a frozen fjord. And so we have the steep cliff edges with the fort on top. And I found this image online, which is really a good representation of what I'm imagining. I'd have the fort at one end, and then all the water would be frozen. So these bases are reflecting that frozen water. So a nice theme, but it also makes it really easy to do the bases. I've also taken some other models that I had. So I had this Redempted Dreadnought from the Space Marine Start Collecting set, and then I used all the components from the two Space Wolves Dreadnoughts to make this third option, and so that worked out really nicely. And then I also did this Space Marine Captain in Terminator armour and just added some Space Wolves bits and pieces so that he fits in as well. I also tidied up the cloak of this other Terminator and just went through all the extra bits from the sprue and added those onto the models as well. And then I thought we need some more crows in this army, so I've took some Aether Wings. I've got 6 that I already had, so I didn't break my rule and buy any new models. I had these already, so I had 3 built, so I built the others and then I've based them, and they're gonna form part of the army. And I'm thinking I could use them as proxies for Fenrisian wolves, so use the rules from that and then just have a different element that brings in that idea of the ravens or crows, and I really like that from the Viking theme. And then I've managed to get some priming done, so I've done all the main characters, I've got those primed. I've just got to go over them with a brush. I use the spray can, but I've got to go over with a brush on the bits that I missed, like underneath these Fenrisian wolves here. And then also did the wolves for the cavalry as well, so they're all ready to get going. And then all the heads for the different models that I kept on the sprue as much as I can. I've done those in Wraithbone, so they're going to be nice and easy to paint with contrast paints, while the rest of the models are going to be dry brushed. I also did a little bit of priming inside the Razorback, so that'll be painted up tomorrow. And then I did all the finishing touches to the vehicles, so they all fit in with the theme. And then I was able to get all the different weapons built for the Dreadnought. So this is really cool. We can swap these over and play through all the different weapon stats. So that's going to be great fun. So there we go, that's how today went. And so now let's have a look at the different vehicles up close, and I'll show you what I've done, especially with the Predator. I did more work on that than I planned to today. Let's start with the Stormwolf, and so this is all magnetised now, so the Stormwolf is pretty much done. So I'll show you quickly how I did it. And so in there I've just got this little plastic almost box that came with, I think it was the Predator, and then there's a magnet glued in there, magnet there, and then that just clips in, and then that just fits in there. So that's nice and snug, that's not going anywhere. And then this has got a tiny little magnet just there, and then one on that bit there, and that fits on too. And then also there, the same thing, just a little magnet. And then this one, I didn't magnetize it, but I just put some sprues inside, and they'll go over that little piece that's in there, and then that fits really secure. And then these worked from before, so that's all done. And then that's it. So that's the Stormwolf, and then we can turn that into the Stormfang just by taking these bits off, taking this bit out, swap the door. Now I've magnetised this bit, so that bit fits on really nicely. That comes off, and then I've got a magnet under there, so that can go on. And now all I've got to do is get this door magnetised. I just ran out of time today, really. And I was just getting covered in glue, and it just wasn't going right, so I just stopped there for a bit, and I'll revisit that tomorrow. But we're just going to get that magnetised, so that'll go on. And then I've got all these weapons as well magnetised to go in here. So we've got two options. We can have the las cannons or the missiles, and so they'll fit inside there. But what I should have done was put another magnet inside before I glued it together. So now I'm just going to have to figure out how to get that in there and get a magnet in there so that it fits. So that's a job that I'll probably do in the next few days. I'm going to have a little break from gluing now. And so, yeah, I'll come back to that and finish it up. But I can certainly get everything primed now, so that's not going to be a problem at all. So that's the Stormwolf and the Stormfang, and we've got two options. So we can run both of the vehicles and all the weapon options from the datasheet. Next up, we've got the Predator, and I love this tank. I've always liked this, and I've got it armed here with the twin las cannons on the top and also las cannons on the side. And you can see I've just put some of the different parts that came with all the different sets and just made it a little bit more like a Space Wolf looking tank. So I put a shield on the back door. That doesn't open. And then I put these from the spare Murder Fang on the back, which I thought looked pretty cool. And they're just trying to have some restraint, really. It's easy to just add tons of stuff on there. And my idea of having some of the different models like tank riders, it just started to look a bit silly. So I gave up on that and just went for this instead. So what I did do instead of that, though, is rather than having the models on, was I magnetised the weapons. So you can take, all this can come off, but you can take that main twin las cannons off and put this one on instead. So that gives you an option of having a different weapon as your main weapon. And then on the sides, they come off too. So it's just a magnet there and a magnet underneath. And then we can put these on there. Oh, that goes on the other side. There we go. So pop those on. And we can also take this guy off, who's going to have a Space Wolf's head. And then this can go on the back, and then they can seal up the hatch. So we're good to go. There we are. So that's already got two options with the weapons. So I like having the different weapons. And by the time you paint all this, you won't see all the stains left from the glue. So cool. That's the Predator. Let's have a look at the Razorback next. Here's the Razorback. And I really like these. I thought they were just so old models, and I just almost got them just to fit in with the data sheets and the books, so I'd have some transport. But I really like them. I think they're really cool. So I've put some Space Wolves emblems on there, some little bits and pieces. And again, I'm not going over the top with the amount, just a few there, and then a little bit on there. And then what I've also done with this is you can swap it. So this bit is for the Razorback, but you can just put this on there, and then it's a Rhino. So you've got two options. I'll leave this one on. I've glued that because I think it fits in and just looks like it belongs. And then this can come off, and again we can have the hatch shut as well. And then I haven't glued all this together yet, because what I've done is I've just painted inside, painted this little control panel, and so they're primed. So I want to paint them properly tomorrow, and then I'll assemble it, paint the outside, and then we're good to go with those. Next, we've got the Redempted Dreadnought. Now, I'd already built this before. This came from the Space Marine Start Collected set, and so I had to cut that front bit off and then put a spare piece that came from one of the Dreadnoughts for the Space Wolves, and then I had this arm that was spare as well, the axe and shield. So I've managed to get all three builds from the Space Wolf Dreadnoughts now, which is really great news. And then even had some of these guards or armour at the bottom, put some new panels on, put a little bit of fur hanging off it, and I think we're good to go. The only thing I couldn't change was this hand, so I've just left the fist on. So if you play it with the shield, you have to just say that the fist isn't working. It's just the shield and the flamer. But all up, I think this looks great with the axe and the shield. I really like Dreadnoughts. I think they're awesome. But the cool thing is, from all the different sets, I've managed to build all the different weapon options too. So we've got one for each of the weapon options, and I think that's going to give loads of variety. We can swap these over. Bjorn's going to probably have this Hell Frost Cannon, and yeah, but it also got these four that we can put on this guy. So if you want to mix it up to more of a shooting Dreadnought, then you've got that option. I'm really drawn to the Flamers in the whole army. This guy's got one already, but I might go for something like a multi-melter. I think maybe that would be a good option. But having all this, we can try all of the different weapons from the datasheet. So I really like that. And then finally here we've got a Captain in Terminator armour, and this is the one that came in the Start Collecting set as well. And so I've cut his head off, and we've put a Space Wolf's head in there. I've cut off some other little emblems and just replaced them with the Space Wolves one. A little bit of fur there, a little bit there. And I've also stuck Crow on there, and this is an Aether Wing from the Vanguard set, and I think it just looks cool. So I've got to think up a background story for this guy and a name. If you've got any ideas, add it below. That'd be awesome. And there he is. So he's got his bolter. I just put a skull on there to mix that up too. But really fun just to make a normal Space Marine into a Space Wolf. I think that's really great. So there we go, that's the progress made today. I'm really happy to get to this stage. So tomorrow will be day 7, and then I can start getting those bases painted. So I'll finish all the bases, and then I'm also going to start painting some of the models. So really cool to be actually getting onto the painting stage. But now it's 4 hours of painting a day for the next 24 days. So we'll see how that goes. I think I'm going to probably approach it by doing a couple of longer days, certainly to get started, so I can really eat into it and have a good chunk of it painted, just to give myself a bit of motivation, and then I can take my time on some of the other models. So I'll probably do the wolves first, because that's a lot of dry brushing, and I think that'll be pretty quick to get painted. But let me know what you think about those crows, and if you think that would work, proxying them for the Fenrisian wolves and using those rules. Do you think that's a good idea? Can you imagine it working in an army? And would you be happy playing against someone who did that? So I'd love to hear what you think about that down in the comments below. But thanks again for following along with the diary, and it's really cool to be able to share this progress and build the army with you guys watching. So thanks so much, and please like if you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and then don't forget to hit that notification bell as well, and then you can join me here next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'd like to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters who make these daily videos possible, and if you're interested in joining the community, it'd be awesome to see you there, and I'll put a link for that in the description down below.